Okay, so basically we have here one input, one very interesting experience from the municipality of Bologna regarding migration and development nexus and also diaspora engagement. And after the input, we will work in the rural cafe groups.
5 minutes.
Something like 5 minutes would be great if you share your experience. So please focus on Lucia. And you maybe come more to the center and stand up and speak loudly.
Yes, hello to everyone. I work for the municipality of Bologna. I'm a civil servant in the Cooperation and Human Rights Office. The connection with Comide came, and with COSPE in particular, who is the partner from Bologna in the Comide project, came with regard to the Amitié project, whose brochure you can find outside, which is a development education project funded by the Development Cooperation Instrument of the European Commission, so the same program that is funding Comide, and is coordinated by the city of Bologna. And it was implemented in 4 European countries and in Brazil. Actually, I was not ready to talk about Amitié, but I will say a few words. Amitié was a project that was focused on raising awareness among the general public, but also among civil servants in particular, on the interlinks among migration, development and human rights. So there is this third component of human rights which was very visible and crucial throughout the implementation of the project. The project was quite complex. It was about involvement of migrant communities in the 4 European countries to give recommendations on how to build an effective communication campaign on these themes. And then we had training of civil servants, school workshops, teachers workshops, and the communication campaign, which was built based on the recommendations received in the previous phases of the project, and then a final festival with all the partners in Bologna. As you can imagine, my perspective is the perspective of a local authority. So I've learned a lot through coming through this meeting and through the cooperation with COSPE, also about the perspective of the NGOs and what is necessary to do at the national level and at the international level. Of course, as a local authority, as a representative of the local authority, I have to try to understand and implement measures at the local level. Because of course, European projects are wonderful, very useful, they can be very effective, but what is important is to change the policies, and we can do it especially at the local level. So, by looking at the manifesto, these are the inputs I think I could give for the discussion. First of all, how to ensure that migrants and diaspora organizations are involved into policy making. It has been acknowledged also by the UN Declaration, as we heard yesterday, that they are necessary, that it is the migration and development nexus is effective in the development policies. But how do we ensure their participation in policy making? And the second point, how do we ensure that the policy makers know who they should involve? So, for example, at the local level, as a municipality, there is a lot of indecision. I wouldn't say ignorance, but we don't know how to involve diaspora organizations effectively. Another point, of course, this is the second point of the manifesto, raising knowledge and awareness among the general public and among stakeholders, I would add. I think that Amitié started a cultural process inside the municipality of Bologna, but it was just a start. Okay, so how to raise awareness also among the stakeholders. Yesterday it was very interesting to hear the representative of a forum who talked about objective understanding. This is the approach we used also in Amitié. start from the data. So collecting data at the local level, at the national level, who give evidence of the fact that migration and development is useful for our policies. So the importance of collection of data, as we heard also from our from the Filipino Women's Council. Capacity building programs, this is extremely important also in terms of integration in the country of arrival or country of residence. And in Bologna we are trying to develop a little project with COSPE if we get more funds. And so capacity building programs can also be done through inclusion into the participatory processes that take place at the local level. In Bologna we have some experiments of participation with citizens taking place. It would be important to include the migrant organizations in these processes at the local level. And also networking, also I think capacity building should promote networking among associations of migrants, for example. The seventh point that has been indicated by Nadia just this morning as one of the most important points. So how to remove barriers. And this is, of course, the national framework, the laws on integration are very important. So if you cannot gain citizenship of the country where you were born, this is of course a big problem, because in Italy until you are 18 you are not a citizen of the country, so of course you do not have the rights equally with the other citizens. So this is a huge problem, but still we can work on removing barriers. At the local level we can work on anti-discrimination, and we can start from ourselves, from the municipal authorities, so from the way we deal with the citizens at the front desks, from the way we deal with the refugees and asylum seekers. And I think it is important not to have a judgmental approach. No? Very often municipal employees, for example, they really they really have a lot of work to handle. The social services as well. In Italy there is a huge crisis. The municipal employees are getting fewer and fewer, so it is difficult sometimes to work as social assistants, for example. So we need to give support to civil servants. We need to give them the tools to make sure that they do not put in place unaware forms of discrimination. Because the first step to integrate is to recognize that there is an institution in the country of residence that is ready to support you and who is not building walls between you and them. I think that the role of cultural mediators, of professional cultural mediators, is very important in this respect. And through the Amitié campaign we have tried to start the cultural process by promoting an idea of citizenship that starts when you identify in the local community. So citizenship which is based also on the city where you live. And I'm finishing. Maybe more than inputs, I'm giving a speech, sorry. But okay. And then about coherence, consistency of policies. I fully agree, of course, on the whole of government approach that is necessary at all levels. I think the national, international, and I would add the local, as far as we can do. So, for example, the protagonism of youth in development education. When we talk about startup and creativity, always think about the migrant input that can be given into these businesses. Tourism, of course, how to welcome tourists in an intercultural and multicultural city, because European cities are like this. Okay, so this is it.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much.
talking about is a part of the money for official money that we can collect. There are cooperation with banks that we can mobilize. There are also our own money that we can bring together. And we can work on other ways. That's the point number one. The point number two is, are we able? It is not because we are black or migrant that we are able to run a business. Because a business, entrepreneurship, it is not that because we have diploma. So we have to recognize that we need capacity building. The first thing that we have to do in our countries where we are is to develop the capacity for developing for entrepreneurship. And when people they know how to develop the entrepreneurship, I tell you they will know how to look for even the money. Because I'm in Vienna, when I met the first time the Austrian Development Bank, I knew for the first time, 18 years later, that the money for Africa that no Austrian people use. And they are only supporting a project more than 10 million euro. So, only the African, Maghreb, Morocco and Egypt, they are the one who are getting this kind of the money from Austria. And I'm asking myself, why in black Africa, let's say black, let's say black like they say. And I was talking with them like that. Why they don't come, why you Austrian people you don't want to invest in South Africa? And they are beginning to say, we don't have no colonial history with your countries, and we don't know your government is corrupt and everything. And they say, tell me the truth. You don't know our countries. But did you think that we are here and you have this knowledge about our countries and about your country? And we discuss. And even the last meeting was on Friday. I discussed once again with the Austria Development Bank. I discussed with the Austria Development Corporation. I discussed with the Eco Credit. And we come up that I say, before we go out of this room, I want the money here for my diaspora people. And one say, I want 100,000 euro. Another say, 300,000 euro. Then say, okay, but they say, you Alexis, you are in development, Entwicklung, but in business you are not a good guy. So I recognize, I say, yes, I'm not economics, but we agree that we have to look for somebody who has competences, and the first thing that we agreed also is to build this new entrepreneurship. And the second thing we agreed with us to collect the people who have ideas and to look for somebody who can transform the idea to a business plan. So that's what I call capacity building, to have ourselves to recognize that we have a deficit there.
And you are using innovative ways to raise funds.
Yeah, now let's come to the second point. The second point is strategical. The strategical is like that. The white man, you all here are not white. We are everybody migrants. Because if you are white, you are not here. So we are immigrants here. Yeah? So they need the job. They make the policy in the government. They know what they want. If you see in the budget for your all governments, for development governments, in the Ministry of Defense, there is a big amount of development aid. In defense.
Foreign affairs, it's okay.
No, I need foreign affairs, defense. Military issues, security issues, that's the big part of the money for the development.
Oh, yes.
And we did never think about it. We are going making demonstration, writing papers like that, and we think we should change them. No, they have their agenda. So there is the reason why, if you want to be a bandit, you have to eat with the bandit self, because you have to be friend of him first. You understand what I mean? If you want to protect your house against a bandit, you cannot go and say, I know you are a bandit. The day you say it, change tactic, and you will never get him. But let's go with him in the cafe, in the restaurant. Let's talk about banditismus. Let him associate how to deal. And the next time, you can make your development. There's no why. The cooperation with institutions, the cooperation of the non-government organizations that are existing is the first way to know how are the way to get the money. Because they know, and we don't know. strategy, cooperation. Second one, partnership. The partnership is another way that you can achieve some project because you don't have money. They have money. And when I say partnership, it can be also partnership with also right here and some Italian business people. There are also those who are looking for the money. They are politicians, they know how to steal money with our government. But the business people, most of them, they don't know. They are lucky if they see also a bridge. They can use us every time is using us as decoration cakes in order to achieve the program. if also they can use us, but you have to be aware, you are the one who look for him and you know what you want. There is a partnership, it's very important. Then the last but not least, lobby and media work. Lobby and media work is very important. In our organizations, we have to success, to create awareness, also to make a program for convincing not the necessary people. We have to identify them and to make a strategy to lobby them. And I think this manifesto will be an instrument for that. To lobby about these two points that we have here. And media work. The media work, I can never forget it because many people, they think media, when they have to publish their meeting, we invite the media when we are making a conference so that they can be in the television, so that we can get our respect and somehow. But the other ways, I can use the media in order to reach my objective. Since I know how to target business, I have also to sit and make a concept. How can I use the media in order to convince or to aware business people who are interested, or to décourager c'est quoi? Discourage those who are against. We have many people who are against. So let's try many ideas. I can say I don't have not a good recipe for everything. That's all ideas and my own experience. And I think you have more than I, and I'm happy also to hear what you think about the future for this platform.
I propose you that we split like that in two groups, and one group is drafting what are the potentials of the migrants and how they can be encouraged to become to develop business initiatives, and the other group will be working on the policies and networking and activities, what can be done on policy level in order to encourage that business initiatives. And we'll have 10 minutes for that.
Can we first ask Alexis what thing maybe we didn't understand or thing like that? All these input. Can we maybe first discuss the input of Alexis?
We can.
Because maybe we have questions about.
But I prefer to continue altogether if possible.
Okay.
Just
Because your input of are very interesting, and so probably it's better to discuss about that inputs.
Okay, if you would like,
No, but,
we can draft it like that. Hope that there will be time for sharing all this.
10 minutes for each subject.
Yes, if somebody wants to comment on his input and what you think about the initiatives of migrants, how can they be encouraged, and whether you think that this way of networking and communication and policy making can be favoring the involvement of migrants and diaspora organizations in entrepreneurship initiatives. If somebody already has experience, maybe can share also.
Okay, if we have a vacation also, we can ask for a vacation for
Okay.
You are the chef. Tell them.
I'm asking if somebody has a question.
I think there are questions.
That's why I asked for questions.
No, I just wanted to put the opportunity, but I can find a question.
okay. If you have question.
I have some difficulties defining these entrepreneurships when it comes to development and health. Yeah? So, is it the same thing, this entrepreneurship? Is this the same thing as business?
Yes.
Normal business, or there's another kind of business? That's the first question. What about globalization? What about competition? It's like if I'm Austrian government, I'm giving you money to compete with me, or how is it to be understood? I don't have any clear idea of how this entrepreneurship in the field of development aids works. Means somebody helps you to be a businessman, or how it works?
Let's begin with the last one. To make competition with the government themselves, it is what we say also in our NGOs with your non-government organization. There is a potential. No.
Like we are helping you. You're poor.
Yeah, exactly. And when we become our independent, when we become independent, your organization begin to say, if they fund themselves, then we begin to lose our influence. That's the same like you are saying. Because you are saying the competition with the government institution.
The NGOs, they help poor people, let's say in Africa somewhere.
They don't help.
Then they will give you, they don't help, that's not a discussion, but the intention is to help people to have something to eat, but not to grow so big that they can compete with themselves. But we are doing business. Actually, the idea is to compete businessmen like Bill Gates or things like that. Is it possible to put it in the same, let's say in the same pot with development aids? Is it possible to put business in development aids? Because actually, I don't quite get it.
But you are right. You are right. But the strategy I told you, we have to be also clever to run first with them. We have to work first with them in order to take everything later. So in the beginning, not make them afraid. And also, like this is the same. I will use the same strategy that they are using now for us. We make the game complicated.
And you think they're stupid enough?
No, they are not stupid. No. I know they are not stupid enough, but the day they will remark, I can give an example. No, I don't want to give an example now because we are all here. So, because the people, they observe you are incontournable. Incontournable heißt? Because they see.
Can you someone please?
Yeah, when they begin to see you are aware, and you are aware, and they can overcome up of you. They make so strategical cooperation. But you have to be, you are right, you have to be so smart, and you have also to make trainings, like we have been doing in France last time with the African European platform. We have been learning how to be smart. How to be smart is to be, no, this is really, business, you are talking about globalization. Chinese people, everybody want to eat, Africa is there. People, they have hungry in Europe, but they want to eat what we don't protect. So in order to protect this, you have to be, even you have another problem, our government, our people, they are eating them. We don't have not only the problem with European institutions, but also our institution in the country. The reason why we have to be intelligent enough, it is not easy. But first of all, I say once again, if you see a lion with a goat, their goat is eating neighbor a lion. You have to look for the solution first for the small goat, because since the small goat is neighbor the lion, then you have to take care. The small goat is dangerous than the lion. So let's begin that with our government first, and I have seen that in Africa, for example, there are people who have money.
I just to answer also to declare the topic of the entrepreneurship engagement. Development aid doesn't mean charity, and this is what we want to change. That development aid is not charity. Development aid is cooperation between different actors. And we would like to make these actors realize that one of the way how people from developing countries can influence on a very small garden area the incomes of their families, and to make stable incomes, because sending savings is not stable incomes and it doesn't develop the economy. We want to make this actors realize that they need to think about innovative ways how to finance such kind of initiatives which can make difference. There are different social enterprises, different income generation activities which are part of the grants. But it's something which, if you get 5,000 euro and you don't have a stable plan how to develop and multiply this 5,000 euro and to make a new business, it's not stable. So we would like to say that existing development aid schemes, they don't support stable entrepreneurship and small business initiatives. We are not speaking about developing new lions who would compete with big companies, but we are speaking about small investments, because in time of crisis...
Small. Why always small?
Excuse
You
me.
always
Galia,
say small.
can we raise
Can we
our-
talk here?
I just wanted
Galia.
to say something. I'm very uncomfortable when I hear. Yesterday I hear we are poor, today we
Yes.
are poor, and I'm very, very
Brava.
uncomfortable. I want to say it. Maybe we have
don't
to
say
we
it.
have to reformulate our way of speaking. Africa is not poor. So the image, the consequences of the unfair commerce and all these things bring Africa or other countries to be presented as poor countries.
It's a stereotype.
So, yeah. So I want to say that this entrepreneurship, we can go to the basis and say we have the potential, we can use the potential, we can develop our continent with this potential. We don't need to sleep on the bed for somebody else. This is what we say in Africa, because you sleep at on the floor, you know. So, and second point is that don't you think that many people, we are speaking of these strategies, yeah? We are clever, they are clever. So people, a lot of people are
these days.
The NGOs and the development NGOs, the banks, we are all related, you know. What your ideas, if you want to, you have to make it, how do you say, private, and not to say it in the official, because they will control your ideas. You mean, how to say? Do you know what I mean? Because for me, it's like if you want to develop something, you have to say to develop it in a logical way. You have the potentiality, you have the people, and you want to develop. You don't want to develop something against NGOs, people that they are sitting here, they know they hear the ideas, and if they are not positive or don't want you to go forward, they will use your argument against you. And so this is I would like to say that it is possible for us to develop our continent. It is, for me, important that we reformulate the debate. And I would really like it next year or the other session that our group speak about the richness of the continent and not about the poverty.
Yes, okay.
Could you write down this question?
Yeah, I wrote-
There are questions
There,
No, we're
I
not
have some inputs.
not questions.
there are not questions, inputs.
There are inputs to what
yes.
he said already.
In September, we organize a conference about the topic entrepreneurship in Vienna together. We invite one guy from Tunisia. He had a business there. You know, a lot of women are working there in order to create a lot of cultural things and how we say, hand working material. And the guy find a market in Austria, fair market, to bring them to sell.
Products within the social economic fabric. So these are all details of the social, economic and cultural integration. Means I can speak the language, I can go to school, I can be educated in your country. You know,
Provided by the country. This is economic part. This is economic part.
if you have a work permit, for example. Yes, but it's not the only one. These measures that
and it's a manifesto. We have a longer version. I think social economic rights are to right to be elected as a unionist, which we don't have in Austria, for instance, as a foreigner. So there are a lot of socio-economic rights.
Well, this is civil and political rights.
Yeah, okay.
So that's why I'm asking. But if we are moving to the second part of the presentation, I would like to expose social security rights permitting migrants who are well-educated and productive.
City partnership wouldn't give to migrants even office, let alone financial incentives.
Many cities have partnerships with cities in other countries, in African countries, so that would also be an opportunity. Open for dialogues, not only in the capital, but
also knowledge transfer, to get knowledge. You know, if you want to make high-tech waste management, say in Johannesburg or something, diaspora who can go there. You know? We, of course, visit others. We are members in formal declaration.
It depends on the level, no?
General public are have to say well in a way.
Okay, so it's awareness of migrants so that they are being appreciated. This is kind of the same.
This is a communication point. We have to look at different cultures, different perspectives.
That's true. That it's
Even as an organization, when you in the country of rights, then you are in a good position to contribute also to the development of the country of origin. But if you are not integrated in the country of arrival, you don't have the tools, you don't have the capacity, you don't have the energy to help your own country. So in order to enhance, to activate the migration and development nexus, the first step is that when you arrive at the country of residence, you are integrated.
To be well integrated.
That's, I think,
This is
that's the point. Thank you.
Maybe that's the point.
That's the point. And we know, I think, when we drafted the term integration is difficult, but there's no better term to describe this integration. Because the only inclusion you can say.
Instead of you are well integrated, we say improve integration. In order to be well integrated, it would be right where it would be acknowledging the fact that if you are well integrated in the country of origin, you are able to engage in development. So the word is you have to revise
We can write it nicely later, so that everybody can read from the start.
I don't know how to frame it now.
But first you frame the...
No, let's do...
Make a point or...
Maybe, I think we do 2 sentences. That's the first thing. The first thing is we say, okay, systematically remove barriers between the diaspora engagement and allow for dual and citizenship, working permits.
But we say that we don't want to have remove barriers, right? I think we're saying that this is...
You have to rephrase this first.
The first one statement you suggested.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
This is it,
Socio-economic...
No, it's not the beginning of the sentence.
Yes.
Is it?
Yeah. you said you don't want to formulate it here, but then you have to say declare commitment to socio-economic and cultural integration or inclusion. What is that?
Such as?
Inclusion or integration. What is better?
Both are terrible for me.
If you don't
Why don't we say
you can use both. You can use voluntary and voluntary.
Doesn't exist.
Okay, so
And then forced to pay this thing. No.
okay.
So it's voluntary. We keep the Okay, so if you are agreeing with the point, then a question also here, but also on the other tables would be how to take these recommendations forward from the manifesto, what to do with it.
This is also, I give a lot of thought about this also, because from many of these, for example, many of these conferences, you know, the objective sometimes I kind of question, you know, not that I'm discrediting it, but quite often when they have some conferences, just so that a group of people goes together, they discuss some points, what the other points, these points,
social, economic, environmental issues. And that's it.
collaborate with residents,
Again on the
with
that is important to enhance the capacity building and training for diaspora If they don't want to, then they don't want
When there is a text about including the conceptualization, formulation, implementation, review of the policy, it is somehow planning, implementation, and evaluation. These are the three levels which are crucial. Because they are covering the whole concept of the whole cycle. How I can say
is what you accomplished. And our aim in the next 3 months is to accomplish number 4 and 5, but at the moment we're aiming to accomplish 1, 2, and 3. So league table is quite important about your performance. You know, because many times, quite often, people are doing something because there is no measurement of what you do. There is no result. But if a group have to make some contribution according to, have to make or show something because they are measured by some set standard or targets, then they will be more serious about doing something.
Okay, I took note of these 2 points. Very good. Any other?
Policy makers, media,
measure no more. We divide it into the then it's measure, one measure.
Okay.
One needs.
That was actually a nice
Because if you're well integrated,
okay.
it's enough. That also
time
means
for the first move. So, if you finish your latest sentences and your latest discussion, and just move on in this direction.
All the group or some person?
All the group is moving, except the host. The host is staying.
Other legal ways, and we have the possibility, we have the potentiality. So I would like us to discuss very concretely.
I don't think our aim is to give an advice to everybody how to do business, because first should be business initiative, and each business is a kind of a long-term project, and you take into consideration different sources of financing, networking, and this is what Alexis says, that he's trying different ways how to generate more funds, and the way how they're doing in the Philippines. And one of the ways that you need to have the skills, the knowledge, and to know how to do that. The other way is to know from where you can find funds. And that's why we are appealing the governments to change the way they are redistributing the funding. So they think about even your idea, that if you go and you say that you would like to implement that idea, that they grant you funds. And that's why he was talking also about the security, because once you go there, you would like also to be sure that this investment will be there and will be providing stable jobs for people for a long-term period. Yes? Claire or Alexis?
You decide. I have only a general question, like why are we separating this diaspora engagement and entrepreneurship as in our program, in our conference program? Because as I understand, this kind of business is also diaspora engagement.
Yes.
So it's also actually it's also AIDS, yeah. And that's why I have the question: is it a good place to set our diaspora entrepreneurship in the development agency, or is it something we have to organize in our community, as you say, putting our own money together? So if I'm doing business, I'm awaiting money from somebody else to support my business. That's not business anymore. That's AIDS. Yeah? AIDS. Yeah. So that's not the way. And to your comment, which I like very much, this money you were putting together, that's actually also remittances.
Yeah.
Because you say remittances cannot develop countries. I say yes. It developed. And yours, you focus it, you put it together, it's grown bigger, and then you did something. That's also remittances. And also the remittances we are sending every day, that's a great help, because if people are not healthy, if they don't go to school and any other thing, they will never buy your product. Yeah? So really my main question is the good place to set our entrepreneurship in our national development agency, or is it something we have to organize in our communities to be business people?
Can I just
by
clarify?
our own?
Can I just clarify? I think I was not very articulate when I said that we are not substitute to development of our countries of origin. That's very clear from the United Nations saying. Of course, we do contribute to development, but what I'm talking about is we are replacing ODA, no?
Yeah.
And we know how much money is in circulation.
Of course,
It's the second biggest money in circulation after the oil industry. And I think it's not wrong to also think about entrepreneurship, but I think we have to be very clear also that, and I will repeat, are we all entrepreneurs? Because we have lost so much money. We've invested and we've lost so much money. So again, what I was thinking about, and after hearing Idris's comment, Yunus. That's microcredit that Alexis doesn't like. I also don't like microcredit because it's credit. Anyway, but if it's managed properly, and this microcredit has earned, world recognition, it has actually, but doesn't have anything to do with migration and entrepreneurship. It's poverty alleviation, and they have entrusted money to women, and again, this connects me to why are we doing what we call the diaspora philanthropy. No? I did the research 5 years ago. The African women in Germany, in Italy, in France, they have invested, they have collected money, invested their own money, and funded women's enterprises in rural areas in Africa. That could be, one of a good potential project. Because we entrust, we empower them. We empower them. We're not going home. Who's going home to hold business in their country of origin? Nobody.
There can be different solutions. In Ghana, you can, they promote both ways, that you can invest and go there from time to time, or you can return back and you can work through whatever schemes they have. So it's all about, in that case, for development of proper policies, communication with financial institutions. Otherwise, we cannot raise funds for anything. If she has a good idea, she can find somebody who maybe wants to invest there, and she can attract the money. And she will go and tell him,
But that's development. That's not entrepreneurship.
But entrepreneurship is development.
That's not the same.
But she can convince him that he has to invest in her project because she's from that community. And she's a guarantee that she knows the local situation and local actors.
Have you heard about hometown associations?
Yeah, of course.
Hometown associations. That's how it's going.
Could we?
The biggest goal is a microcredit. It is a promotion of entrepreneurship. And that is the attendance of that microcredit. It is supporting the schools, healthcare, and all those are included to the development issues. Because you are supporting the community development for Africa, for rural area. But that same person has no clean water, has no school, has no healthcare. So that is not the development. Development, it should be following all these are together. Health, security, education, and the what's called this? Entrepreneurship, whatever kind of business you are doing. These are following one to other. So that is why that small money are given to family are making these things. Because those people are making a lot. You have 100,000 euros, but you don't have a school for your children, you don't have a clean water for drinking, and you don't have health care to go, so you take hundreds of kilometers to go to search for the health care. But the microcredit was providing all this in one place. That is the difference.
Okay, keep jumping.
Yeah, what I wanted to say is, I think we are talking about something like making a bridge. I liked what Angela said yesterday, because I think this thing means a lot of countries don't do these things because, our countries of origin, there is the potential, but most of the potential is not tapped in because of the lack of the finances. We are here from those countries. We know the situation there. We can be able to solicit for some money, then we can promote the people there. It's something like making a bridge. So according to me, it's just for information. Information is very expensive, and for example, to get money, for example, from Slovakia, to get money from a Slovak bank and invest it in Kenya, to make policies so that it can be able to help people, For example, you have businesses back at home, people are employed, people can make money, their children can go to school and all those things, and with time you will find that those developing countries will be at bar or something they will start growing, because this thing of charity, it will take ages and nothing will happen.
So I think, first of all, before I start my small conclusion, I'm not fighting against microcredit because they are microcredit. I'm only fighting because every time when you speak about diaspora engagement, they tell us about micro. That's only this idea, because I recognize, like you are saying, the role of microcredit. But I say that's capital number one. Let's think about capital number two, macro. Yeah. So my small comment is, please, I wanted to ask one thing. Don't make mistake to think there is a good idea and there is a bad one. All idea you have given here, there are ways, there are possibilities. They are all valuable. They are all okay. The only one thing you have to do, you have to canalize them in the capital that they belong to. Even what the credit says, development through diaspora engagement. The definition, you can find a way. But don't make mistake to think one point is better. For example, the war is the best business thing. Even people who wanted to make business, they prepare the war. Yeah. That is the reason why my first plaidoyer is, we have to consider entrepreneurship development in actual situation. Yeah. You analyze the situation, you say, okay, in Congo, there is a war. There is no governments, rulers in everywhere. How can I make business there? And you develop an idea for the business according to the situation. So that's the first one is to make the business in actual situation. We have to analyze it and to integrate our idea in actuality. So according to my sister from Philippines, also the things that we are doing in the remittances and everything. I hope one day that instead that we use the money for our own pocket to send to our sister, that this capital can be closed. Maybe I get the capacity for building a school, and the school which is not for free, of charge, because the private schools are booming in Africa and they're making much money. So the way is to make our duty easier, because I would like to buy my car and my money instead of sending my sister, and that my sister can be also a bias for the government. So then I have last three things. The first one is the media awareness creation. It is a big concept as well here as well in Africa. So we have to develop the strategy for awareness for information. That is point number one. I'm a journalist for that since 1986. This is I know how it means journalism information. It is very, very important. The second point, the only one question you have to resolve, we have to empower the diaspora so that they can be able to contribute effectively on the development through entrepreneurship development. And I think this is a sentence I formulated before so that they cannot make a mistake. If we develop the capacity of the diaspora, the ways are many ways, and so that they can be able to play their role as actor in the development. The ways are also different. So we have to work on the ways. And in every country, in every community, there are appropriated way. The way in Slovenia is not the way in Austria and so on. The last but not least, for Iran, if we are smart, they are smart. And if we give them our argument, they will use them to fight us. Hey, in the life even, nothing is gift. Everything, you have to fight for it. The day that your Gegner, your opposite sees that you are strong enough, he will come and cooperate with you, or you will also discriminate him. we have a situation between France and Germany.
If I may ask you to finish the May I ask you to...
But mainstream, I agree that mainstream media is because usually mainstream media don't change
for what kinds of developments and we decided to speak about diaspora engagement in sustainable development. That means social, environmental and economical development for all, here and there. And that's the first point. The second point is about these sentences, thereby giving them special insight up to the point, because they are not agree with giving them. And we speak about something like a bottom-up approach to promote equal participation in development processes or something like that, but not giving them, because giving them it's not, they cannot also, yeah, that's the point. Another point on the sentences and person, work with each other was about, and then...
And can I just add something or to wait until the end? Because just to add on that point, what about initiatives? Like non-formal initiatives, because we forget sometimes about it, because some of the groups are informally organized, they are doing something, but they are not just formal organizations. I don't know if it's clever to include them. Because we have, I don't know, the people from Nigeria, in Slovenia, they are not formally organized, but they exist and they do something. The truth is that they are not legal subject, they cannot apply for projects and so on, but it doesn't mean that they are not working. So maybe just to add initiatives. Yeah.
So then we had to establish mechanisms, institutional coordination, communication mechanisms, also 4.3. So to expand not only to formally declare commitment, but also establish the second point, mechanisms about migrants and diaspora participation when developing policies and selection of priorities, partnerships, development cooperation, establishing mechanisms.
Supplement their existing voluntary contributions to development activities, to make it clear, because it was not clear to some people that those contributions to development activities. Okay, so this was basically what was said by the other group, and maybe we discuss first the text and then where to take it. and what to do with it. So are there any additional comments, changes you want to make to the text? It's in each and every point.
To formally declare is a much stronger expression
Than just to declare.
because I don't declare, I don't know, I like it, but if I want to formally declare it, I need structures and
It has
stages.
It has and usually it's not linked to the budget because then if it's formally declared, then how do you implement it? You need a budget, and then you can actually.
For example, the co-funding options mean that there should be a budget line, basically, for the diaspora organizations. That's what also has been said by Yacho at the beginning.
But I think this is a question of status of diaspora organizations. For example, these are usually NGOs. How to somehow do this division between national NGOs and the diaspora organization?
How
do you declare the status of an organization?
It's a diaspora organization, right?
The status of diaspora organization, because Slovenia is not so.
What?
In Slovenia there is not a diaspora organization, they don't have any special status. They are just societies or, let's say, some other forms.
In what country is that?
Slovenia.
In Austria, if you form an organization, you have to register it with the police. Then you have a legal status.
But then it doesn't say I'm a diaspora organization.
It just says
That's what I mean. How do you determine what is the legal status?
How do we recognize a diaspora organization?
Well,
the status of a diaspora
because then if we want
determine
affirmative actions for them, or if we want special capacity building, then who is
we
eligible?
need the definition of the diaspora organization. We're using the definition. Well, I don't know.
It has to have some legal status, like what the police requires.
Yeah, but the police, I don't want the police to say if it's a diaspora organization or not.
No, the reason is you don't hold official status until you register. And here in Austria, everything is registered. Where you live, where you...
The registration is no question.
That's not the question, but the question is how to say it's just a normal NGO and it's a diaspora organization.
No, the NGO is not registered with the police, it's registered with the UN, the Economic and Social Council.
No, that's the consultative status, that's something different. The NGO can have consultative status. There are a lot of NGOs.
Who acknowledges you as an NGO? How are you acknowledged as an NGO?
Czech Republic is the Ministry of Interior.
Yeah, the Ministry of Interior.
If you register.
But anyway, we are not talking about association laws here.
We talk about
that's too complicated.
This is one example, again, I don't know how to formulate it, but just make it structured so it's a transfer of skills. And because it's not a need, you really get a lot of money back.
But that's a general discussion on the whole concept of development cooperation, which we can't discuss here in the manifest. But I got your point.
And that's why it's just important.
I think now what this number 8, I think it's a little bad. Maybe this policy conference has, I don't know, different years. So this is good, the level strengthens the migration development nexus, very nice. But how? So one is the policy conference, and policy conference takes different areas. I at the EU level, who developed policy in many cases? It's the European Union.
No, but the manifesto is not about, they're not the action points. The action points definitely must come later on. Who should be responsible for doing it? Yes, it's really, this is the more, I think the other points are more important for us in the manifesto. But before, there must be one point where we mention the whole government approach, the coherence thing, the promotion of diversity, so we put all these nice words in one.
Yeah.
And that's problematic. But I have not drafted it, for me it's also...
Yeah, we can know, it's okay. The keywords are inside that, it is important. Maybe through improved policies, what is advocacy? Policy concurrence?
No, advocacy is...
Policy concurrence, we have, there is a problem at EU level. But anyway, improved policies at international, at EU, international or at international EU international level.
International, European,
and national level.
International, European, and
national
level. Levels then?
Yeah, levels.
Yeah, but you know, if you look at it, for example, if I give you an example, like for example, in the United States, for example, you will find a lot of English people there. They are not desperate. And the same, and vice versa. You know, and if they go to the United States, even though they're English, they're still migrants.
As I have to say, there are a lot of desperate in Spain that come in Morocco. So, you know.
But sometimes, what I think they should maybe define migrants and give a different definition. Not like just someone who moved from one place to another because of economic reasons. But sometimes this person moved from where they live, not because of economic reasons, but employment. Maybe this person is maybe a doctor, but he wants to be maybe a surgeon. And if he stay in his country, for example, I'm from Jamaica, if I go, for example, a doctor degree in Jamaica, it costs me much more than if I do in Europe. You know, so it doesn't necessarily mean that because this person comes, it means, you know, it means also that, for example, in Jamaica, if I work as a teacher and I want to do, for example, part-time study, it's possible, but it's very difficult. You know, and in England, if I do this in England, it's easy because they're much more receptive towards this. Not that in Jamaica they don't accept, but the situation is that based on the logistics and all these things, it's easier because if I had to do, I might have to drive from where I live for 1.5 hours. And it, you know, by car. Here, I can take the train, or even in, say, in London, I can take the train 15 minutes, covering the same distance. You know? So this is the difference.
I agree, but you know, in Italy, for example, if you are extra-Europe students that come in Italy to develop yourself, to improve your knowledge and so on, the national law of immigration is also on here. You know? So we speak about migrants because in some European nations, there are the same situation for all of the extra Europe that come in Italy for study, for work, for all. So that's the point. The reason to come are different.
Migrant diaspora individuals. Yes, migrant Migrant and diaspora? No, individuals. Instead of associations. I think here it's more about associations.
Yes, but when you talk about the individual, it is different. It's difficult to understand the difference for me between migrants and diaspora. When you talk about the individual, it is the difference.
Migrants can be short-term, long-term, but diaspora means actually that it's related to the time you are alive.
Migrant is first generation normally, diaspora is second, third, okay, so
this is
but by that maybe you should also it's not clear. No, I know, it was the question of
a brief
footnote.
So in our region, we make a confrontation between Milan model and our region. And we have to go through this. And then the co-founding is the same for everyone, because if you are really working in including the Diaspora or the Migrant Association within the cooperation department, the national department, and you are supporting their capacity to make projects, run projects, etc., you don't need special co-funding because you are making corruption, you are making a mistake because you have to find
Yeah, so that an NGO comes says, you're a migrant, then help us, we'll get the funds, we'll get 10%. Right.
Yeah,
so it fosters
I mean,
corruption in a way.
And I am an NGO, so we denounce this. Be careful, be careful.
This is what happens with tennis in Czech Republic. Because companies would like to have the money, so they ask the university to supply.
It should, for sure, as you said, be with the tailor-made capacity.
Before, otherwise you are making I don't think it's right. Because it's a danger.
And actually, if there is a special co-funding scheme only for the migrants and the diaspora organization, it would create a big balance between the normal NGOs. Bloody hell, we don't have co-funding and you have it.
I'm not taking the part of NGOs because I'm an NGO. I'm serious. But I think we have to support the organization. Then it needs to be equalized to be maybe have to force the program they succeed.